So today we're sitting here with Pierre Hernandez. Pierre, how long have you been playing the bass?
I've been playing for about 18 years.
And what about life inspiration?
And so, music is just another way of poetry. It's just like art. Like this painting right here, somebody had, painted that because they actually were inspired by, by something to create this. This could be a self-portrait for all we know. For me, music is a way to write poetry, to do art, to express what I feel inside, whether it's happiness, sadness, joy, anger, pain, whatever the case may be. A lot of people ask me what kind of music I play. I just say kind of like a little bit of classical involved with jazz, new age, kind of instrumental. It's more in the jazz area, but not too much like your jazz chords, jazz, whatever. It's more just kind of like what I feel. It's got a very linear feel to it, where it's kind of tells it like more like 80s style, 90s style, where there's the chords are right one after another. But there is some movement where jazz has movements in there, and then rock is more just kind of straightforward. So it's kind of in between that. Straying away from the poetry and the artistry, I've actually decided to go into more designing instruments, because that's something I really love doing. Ray Simonetti is a luthier. A luthier is a bass builder. He's based out of Houston, Texas, and I shot him the design, actually this design over here, a couple years ago in 2007, and me and him have become friends ever since. And then this one right here, I gave to him a couple years ago as well, and I just got this last year, so it's about a year old. It's an 8-string bass. It's a bass and guitar combined. It does a lot of stuff.
So tell me a little bit more about what happened to your hand.
I actually cut it with a kitchen knife. I severely cut it down to the tendon and the nerve, and have to get surgery next week.
So how are you still able to play just with that injury?
Well, I've actually, when you first start playing, you play with your index finger. And most musicians, most bass players that are taught that way. Back in the day when bass players started playing, they'd actually play with their thumb like this. So, but I was taught with my index finger, and then taught my middle finger, and then over time I gradually increased to my ring finger, and then I kind of taught myself how to play with the pinky, which is kind of unheard of, but I'm actually glad I did, because I never knew that this would happen. But it's kind of like I thought, like, hey, in the event that something does happen, I have 4 other fingers to play. So